Tonight, how is road construction hindering some surrounding storefronts?
Last I checked, we were down about 60% from even last week, but about 40% from same time last year. So it's definitely an impact.
Plus, we speak with a few vendors at the State Fair about what keeps them coming back year after year. And later.
I'm Brianna Juneau with MTN News in Lewistown, taking a look at Benefis Health System's new urgent care clinic that's well underway. Details on this coming up.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for trusting KRTV for your 10 o'clock news. I'm Tim McGonigal. First tonight, construction has picked back up on 6th Avenue Southwest this week, and the project has some business owners on edge, some saying it's driving customers away during what could be one of their busiest times of the year. MTN's Tom Wiley stopped by to see how the work is affecting one local coffee shop.
I'm standing along 6th Street Southwest where the northbound lane is closed while crews replace the concrete. Now, this major project is way ahead of schedule. That's good for contractors and the Montana Department of Transportation, not so good for some area businesses. Kevin Smith, the owner of Karma Coffee Brewing, says the majority of their customers arrive from the northbound lane, but that's been cut off.
We weren't supposed to block off our road at all. They were supposed to be a northbound access at all times, and I guess they changed their contract, and now nobody can get to us from 10th Avenue South.
This project started in April and is expected to wrap up in the fall. So even though Smith knew work would continue all summer, the lane closure caught them off guard and has had a negative effect on business.
Last I checked, we were down about 60% from even last week, but about 40% from same time last year.
Krista Smith, who helps run Karma Coffee, says the lack of communication has been the hardest part, especially during one of their busiest weeks of the year.
It's Fair Week, and they have cut off all access. We were not notified of the change of this northbound lane being closed. Had we been notified, we could have made some plans.
The original bid package called for both northbound and southbound lanes to remain open during the duration of the project, but MDT District Administrator Jim Wingerter says the contractor came to them recently with a proposal for a change.
We had 40 days to get that work done. With being so tight, the safety, the time involved, they presented a plan to us to reduce that down to 20 to 25 days and get them in and out of there as fast as we can.
Wingerter says the decision was made for safety and efficiency, but he understands the frustration.
And in this case, there's a couple of businesses that's impacting substantially, and we feel for that, try to do the best we can for us and for them. And in this case, we made the decision. It was the best decision to make for our community and for all the traffic.
Meanwhile, Karma Coffee and other businesses in the area are asking customers to make the extra effort to reach them during this closure.
Our community is so amazing. I put it out on Facebook what was happening, and we have seen so many faces today. We could not appreciate them more.
Work on the northbound lane is expected to wrap up by Sunday, at which point the southbound lane will close until August 12th. Tom Wiley, MTN News.
Good evening. Some of us saw a very stormy day. We had a couple of flash flood alerts in Fergus County and up into parts of Blaine counties. And we are going to see more storms over this week that will bring the potential of some localized heavy rain and flash flooding. So not everyone is going to see these heavy storms, but if you do get caught under one, it could certainly lead to some issues with that flash flooding potential. And then into next week, we are actually going to track an area of low pressure moving closer to the area, and that could bring a pretty significant cool down. We'll look at highs back into the 70s, but for the rest of tonight, temperatures will slip back towards the low to mid 50s for most areas, and we'll actually clear out of those clouds in Great Falls, but more clouds hanging on in Helena throughout the night. But tomorrow, another warm one. We'll get into the low to mid 80s, actually a little bit below average for this time of year, and a noticeable breeze around. We could actually see 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts across the plains. And down into Helena, you'll be looking at just some isolated thunderstorm activity and your temperatures reaching the upper 70s and low 80s.
Well, why do you visit the Montana State Fair? Well, MTN's Quentin Shores visited Montana Expo Park today to speak with some longtime visitors and vendors about what drives them back to the event each year.
Delicious food, amazing rides, and don't even get me started on all those fun carnival games. Now, these are all great, but the reason that I go to the State Fair every year is because of the stories.
I like working with people. It's always good to work with people.
Anna and Maddie went from going to the fair as friends to working there as friends.
I work with a lot of people that I know from past, and then Anna's my friend. I work with my sister. So I work with a lot of people that I'm friends with or family with.
The tight-knit bond that's formed at these food vendors makes sense, as some of them have been here for years. For example, the cheese curd stand that these two work at has been going strong at the fair for 18 years, but even the newer booths have stories to tell. Jerry and Amanda Bridgewater, along with their son Richard Booker, have a story that, well, I'll let them explain it.
Right here, my wife. 10 years ago, she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and she wanted to raise awareness. So we started a booth down at Farmers Market. Slowly over the years, we added different things, and this just happened all by accident. We found out that the best way to reach people is through kids and their family and to start early. So we started doing that, and we grew and then came to the fair, and now we make our own caramel for our own caramel apples, and Wilcoxon's ice cream, some of the best in the state, and some of the best popular flavors. We ordered some of the biggest apples we can find because we want to give a good value. So yeah, it's just we pass along everything back to the community.
In Great Falls, I'm Quentin Shores, MTN News.
Healthcare access can often be limited in rural communities. That could soon be changing in Lewistown as an old building is being developed into a new urgent care, aiming for providing quicker, more convenient care to the area. MTN's Brianna Juneau has more on the changes in store.
Benefis Health System is on track to open a new 4,200 square foot urgent care clinic in Lewistown by late September of this year. This will be the first clinic in town capable of handling urgent care needs other than the emergency department at the Central Montana Medical Center.
We're excited that this will be something we can bring to their community. It'll be the first clinic in Lewistown.
Stacy Allen, Director of Operations with Benefis, says that the health system has been actively trying to expand to rural areas in north central and central Montana. At the location of a former fast food restaurant in Lewistown, the new clinic will offer urgent care, lab and imaging services, and specialty outreach for neurosurgery and orthopedics.
It's important to have that service so patients can be seen timely and get their needs taken care of quickly.
The Lewistown community have welcomed Benefis's new investment. For Planning Director Doug Osterman, he's taking it as a sign of the town's steady growth.
This does fill a void in care for the city of Lewistown, which is really going to be important as we grow.
Last year, the city of Lewistown developed a new growth plan that includes infill development, a strategy that repurposes existing land in the city rather than expanding outward.
Our growth is actually much more manageable than what it was originally anticipated. And I think for a community like Lewistown, that's a good thing. We can do that very methodically and smart, and I think as a result we're going to preserve a lot of the open space and agricultural lands that surround Lewistown.
With new units in the works and the new urgent care clinic to fill some gaps, Lewistown is looking ahead.
So it's going to really bring a lot of vibrancy back to Lewistown.
In Lewistown, Brianna Juneau, MTN News.
A proposal to bring a ballot measure to keep party labels out of Montana's judicial elections is taking another step forward. This morning, the group behind the effort submitted the language for their proposed constitutional amendment to the Montana Secretary of State's office. And it would add just 3 words to the state constitution, stating that judges must be elected in nonpartisan elections. During the last 3 legislative sessions, some Republican lawmakers have sought to allow judicial candidates to run with political party labels. They argued these races are already politicized and that they would simply provide more transparency for voters. But the sponsors of this proposed measure say they're convinced Montanans are happy with the current system.
This isn't a change for Montana. This is just codifying something that we've been doing in law for a long time, and instead of just being in statute, we're going to move it over into the state constitution. So what we're doing is we're preserving that Montana way of justice, and we think Montanans will react accordingly and support this overwhelmingly.
The proposed text and ballot statements must now be reviewed by legislative staff, then the Attorney General's office. If the Attorney General finds it legally sufficient, supporters will be able to start gathering signatures to qualify for the 2026 ballot. Officials at Yellowstone National Park say that a 17-year-old male sustained significant thermal burns to his foot and ankle area. This happened in the vicinity of the Lone Star Geyser on Monday. A news release says the teen was on a hike in the thermal area when his foot broke through the thin crust and he sustained burns to a lower extremity. Emergency medical staff responded and took him to a hospital for further treatment. Park officials are investigating the incident. No other details have been released. This is the first known thermal injury in Yellowstone in 2025. The last reported incident was in September 2024 when a woman sustained second and third degree burns.
Somebody's dead was dedicated to ruining this.
Coming up, before they said I do, one married couple-to-be said we can't believe it. How a community rallied to save their special day.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Well, imagine arriving at your own wedding and finding this, the venue, vandalized by someone who was determined to destroy everything in sight. This happened recently to a Great Falls couple set to be married in White Sulphur Springs. But as MTN's Kagan Harsha found out, this maddening case of vandalism actually has a happily ever after ending.
I fell in love with it. It's beautiful.
June 28th, 2025 is the day that Travis and Carson Snyder will forever cherish.
And I just like, lost it.
The day they tied the knot and said I do.
It was very nice.
But you may find it hard to believe this is a day they'll lovingly remember.
Are you guys okay?
When you learn this happily ever after love story started like this.
They opened the door for us and it was just like what in the actual, like...
The night before the Snyders were set to exchange vows, someone broke into their wedding venue just outside White Sulphur Springs and destroyed everything in sight.
Anything and everything that was in there.
Tables were overturned, wine bottles shattered, propane tanks emptied, even extension and speaker cords were cut in two.
There was 10 clam bottles just opened and dumped on the floor. There's like even chalkboard signs were cut in half.
And the mayhem didn't end there.
Because they had those troughs outside. One was full of pot and one was full of beer. They went and stabbed every single can that was in there. Somebody's dead was dedicated to ruining this.
But the town of White Sulphur Springs wasn't going to let that happen. From the man who rents out porta potties, who donated beer and soda, to the bar down the street which offered up extra shot glasses, everyone here was bound and determined to make sure the couple's big day didn't turn to, well, you know.
We were texting people.
Yes, word started to spread in this small town.
Somebody came through and destroyed all their decorations.
And within minutes, they started to rally.
I called my managers and was just like, okay, what can we do? Everybody kind of had something they could contribute.
Bar 47 donated shot glasses.
We got it handled.
The Edith Hotel washed soiled tablecloths and linens and started collecting picture frames and decorations.
We just set up a table in one of our rooms and just laid everything out that they could take.
And down the street at the grocery store, customers even caught wind of what had happened as employees were busy printing new photos for the couple.
I guess there was a couple people who donated to our honeymoon fund that were listening to that story. And I'm like, holy cow.
At 4:30 sharp, as Travis and Carson were set to walk down the aisle, the conversion was finished.
When we came down for everything, it was like it never happened.
I was crying even more. I'm like,
relief.
Yeah. Really. I was just happy tears at that point.
Proof that even in the darkest of times, love really can overcome just about anything.
Don't let stuff just ruin your day, because at the end of the day, love wins.
In White Sulphur Springs,
love is all that matters.
Kagan Harsha, MTN News.
The Marr County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate the vandalism, but no arrests have been made. People from lower income backgrounds are at a greater risk for developing long COVID. Researchers from Harvard and Brigham and Women's Hospital found people experiencing financial hardship, food insecurity, and healthcare access challenges had a higher risk for developing long COVID. The study highlights how social disparities in health can become even worse during a pandemic.